Hey folks, so I just wanted to pop on quick and just share some of what's coming up for me, and I really hope that it's helpful for some folks who might also be feeling similar ways. I've been having a lot of conversations lately with IFS therapists, practitioners, coaches, just folks in the IFS world. Uh, and a lot of what the common theme is I'm scared. I feel powerless. I feel trapped. I feel heavy. I feel highly dissociated. I'm raging. Mel, I'm just really scared. Mel, I feel like I'm in survival mode again. And with everything that's going on in the world right now, a lot of people in my circle and my spaces and my students and my clients and my peers feels like we're sharing this heaviness. Right now, and I wanted to pop on and just speak about this. I also want to name that I know that there's a lot of people that walk around with this heaviness all the time, that walk around feeling scared all the time. And it's not always just world events that cause this to happen, that there's a lot of individual events that are happening for specific people that are causing a lot of these parts to come up and be really pulling at our attention. And so when we're feeling the bigness of our parts, the bigness of some of these experiences, right? What do we do as IFS therapists? How do we unblend? How do we be with these parts when we still have to show up and we still have to go to work? And a lot of our clients might be feeling similar ways that we are, right? Our parts are resonating with them. What do we do? There can be this assumption in IFS sometimes that no matter what's going on, no matter what parts of us are blended, that we should be able to notice those parts, acknowledge them, and they should be able to soften back and we should be able to hold self energy no matter what. As I'm saying that, notice the should, the should. I should be able to do that, right? That's coming from a manager. What we know about parts is that when our parts are really scared, when they need to be heard and seen, when they need our attention, they oftentimes blend with us to get our attention, to let us know that they're scared, to let us know that they need us in some particular way. And saying, "Hi, I hear you. I'll see you in 5 hours after work," right? Might not always work for some of these parts, right? "Hi, no, I'm having survival terror right now. I can't just unblend and wait." And especially if parts of us have been through experiences in the past where we felt powerless, where our choice was taken away, where our control was taken away, right? Where we were harmed by people in authority, right? If we've went through these experiences with everything that's going on in the world right now, these old parts might also be getting triggered. And to add to that, if we have these parts, right, as a world, we just went through a global pandemic, right? A lot of these parts were likely triggered then. Survival terror. And for folks that are feeling the heaviness around the election or any other experiences that allow or that cause our parts to feel powerless and have no choice and have no control, right? Again, these old parts of us are getting triggered, right? I've heard Frank Anderson call this a double trauma, right? Maybe it's a triple trauma because of the pandemic. That's a lot of heaviness for our parts to go through. And it's a lot for our protectors to be online protecting all of these little ones or all of these parts of us that were impacted in the past, or parts of us that are just feeling the impact of that right now, or parts of us that might be feeling the impact of that for people that we love and people that we care about. some things that I really want to communicate today is parts are okay. Our parts are coming up. Hi, Mel, red flag. Hi, Mel, this is really scary. Hi, Mel, we feel terrified because we know what it feels like to feel powerless or to feel like our needs aren't important. These are big feelings to hold. Parts are okay. Showing up to work with enough self energy for our clients, right, is also okay. We're not going to be showing up with 100% self energy all the time. And the expectation that we should be 100% self led all the time isn't realistic. And so when we have these big things going on, right, I think it's expected that our parts are going to be close by. Some suggestions that I have to offer around this is intentionally carving out some time for those parts, right? Outside of session, when you have some space, right? And I know we're all busy, and you might notice that, Mel, how can I spend time with my parts when they won't unblend? So invite the blending, invite the embodying of parts, and journal or let them speak through you, right? Parts coming up around survival terror and hopelessness and panic and fear, right? Oftentimes, lots of managers are going to want to get rid of them. Oh, this is uncomfortable. Let's tuck that over there, right? Oh, this doesn't feel really good. Let's tuck that over there, right? Which is going to cause those parts to want to be hurt even more, right? The pushing away of parts isn't always effective all the time, forever. And so if we invite the embodiment, right, if we can, if our protectors will allow it, right, invite these parts to be more embodied. Invite more blending so that you can really feel deeply into these parts. I'm really getting how big this is for you. I'm really getting how scared you are. That inner space of attunement where you're inviting the part to blend more, you're inviting them to be more embodied in you, can actually help with unblending because the parts are being invited to show you exactly what they're feeling, right? So that we can hold more clarity around the bigness of this. Parts are okay. The other thing I want to name that can be helpful for you and for some of your clients is really teasing out, is this a double trauma, right? You're hearing clients talk about what's going on presently, right? And you might hear some different pieces that might give you a sense that, oh, there might be something else going on here. I can't believe this is happening again. Ah, okay. I'm curious how much of this belongs to the present, how much of the terror, the panic, the anxiety, the fear, the powerlessness, how much of it might belong to the past? Like, can we tease this out to really pinpoint where we're intentionally going to focus on some of these parts, right? Do these present day parts need the most attention right now? Do these parts from the past need the most attention right now? A lot is going on, right? How much of what's going on for the client is grief that doesn't need to be unburdened, but just needs to be witnessed, right? When your clients are coming to therapy, blended in terror, parts that are feeling terror, parts that are feeling panic, right? What do they need? Do they need the therapist to be a silent witness, a compassionate bystander, to just hear how big this is for them, right? A lot of your sessions over the past couple of weeks might have looked more like talk therapy, even with clients that are that can drop in and do insight, right? Why is this happening? parts might need to be heard in a different way. They might need to be witnessed in community or in a community space by another nervous system to really feel heard. You might have noticed that there might have been some resistance to dropping in with these clients, right? It might have looked like venting. That might be what your client needs in that moment, right? And you might ask, right? I know that the typical way we work is dropping in, but my sense is that your parts may need to be heard in this particular way today, right? Let's let them do that. Inviting things to look different when these big experiences are happening, right? You might even name to clients, there's a lot going on right now. I'm feeling some heaviness around it, right? And I'm showing up at 70%. I remember having a conversation with Derek at the beginning of the pandemic in 2020, and his part saying, I'm only at 75%, Mel. Like, I can't show up 100%. My parts are so close. And I can show up 70% for my clients. That's enough. And your system might need to be named around that. When I came back to work after taking time off after Derek transitioned, right? I'm teaching stepping stones cohorts and stepping deeper cohorts, right? And I said to my clients, I'm here 60%. I've got a lot of grieving parts close by. They know I'm here. They know that I can attend to them. They know that I have been attending to them, right? And they're close by, right? I'm here at 70%. Another intention of making this video is for us to hold graciousness with our systems when we're going through something big, individually or collectively. And I know I keep saying this, our parts are okay, right? We're not bad IFS therapists if we have all these parts close by. We're not bad IFS therapists if we can't fully unblend. Be gracious with your system. And the last thing I want to name is to never forget about the power of self-energy. That when our parts are really triggered, unblending isn't the only way to offer our parts self-energy. Can we take a deep breath and offer the blended part of us some self-energy? Right? When we hear ourselves say, I'm so scared. When we're walking outside and you notice anxious and fearful parts. When you're speaking to other people who might have different values and ideas about the world than us, and we feel tension or rage or sadness, right? Can we say, hey, of course I'm feeling like that, or of course you're feeling like that, right? We can offer these little drops of awareness. We can offer these little drops of, hey, I see you. Hey, I hear you, right? That might not be these expansive amounts of self-energy, but these little drops, right? If that's all we have to offer these parts, we can offer those parts that, right? Let them know someone's on the other end, hearing them, hearing their fear, hearing their pain, holding that with the capacity that they have to hold it. It's also okay to say to our parts, I really feel how big this is, right? I feel how much pain you're in. I don't feel like I have the capacity to hold this right now by myself. Are you willing to hold on? We have a session tomorrow. I'm going to reach out to a colleague, a friend, a loved one. Are you willing to just hold on? Or Are you willing to pull back 10%? I have a session that I need to do. Work with the parts, attune with them, right? I know you don't want to unblend. I know you're really scared. 5-year-old part. I hear you. I see you. Can you give me a tiny bit of space? Would you be willing to hang out behind me so you're still connected? Do you want to tuck yourself into my heart space? The parts might not be willing to fully unblend, but with some acknowledgement and some awareness, they might be willing to partially unblend and feel your energy or feel the connection with you. And so your days might look like maybe short, more regular drop-ins with some of your parts, right? Opposed to, once a week, I go and do therapy with my IFS therapist, where you might be dropping in a little bit more when things are really heavy, when things are really big. You might dance with your parts a little differently, right? For me, it's common to, I can oftentimes put my hand on somatic activation and take a breath, and my parts will unblend, knowing I'll come back to them. But when things are really big and really hard, that doesn't always work. And I might drop in for a little bit longer with these ones and say, hey, I feel you really strong. Can you give a tiny bit of space? I know this is hard. I know you want to be heard. I'm here with you. You're not alone. Can we come back to this? And they might give you enough space so that you can get through a session, so that you can get through a task, you can complete something. But the most important thing is going to be coming back to these parts, right? Not leaving them alone in their fear, in their pain, in their hopelessness, in their powerlessness. So our parts are not bad, just to offer another repetition of that. We can offer bite-sized pieces of self-energy to these parts. We can dance with them a little different. If they won't fully unblend, will they partially unblend? Can we see what they might need for a short time? And making sure we follow up on them. And being gracious with our systems when there's a lot of hard things going on, and knowing that even if your parts won't fully unblend, it doesn't make you a bad IFS human, whether you're a therapist, a coach, a practitioner, fill in the blank. IFS teacher, IFS doctor. If you can't fully unblend, it doesn't mean you're bad. It just means your parts have more energy around something and they need more of your attention. They need to be heard in a bigger way. I know this video isn't going to resonate with everyone, but I hope for some folks that are feeling the heaviness, in particular right now, that there's something in this video that you can hold on to, or there's something that maybe your parts can hold on to that might be helpful in this time. All right.